Hey folks, welcome back. This is Don Spastic Simmer. Good to see you. We've already uploaded the walkthrough for this little build. It was a whole lot of fun, though I will admit I ran out of time on a whole lot of it, so ended up having to finish it up offline. So I'm not going to take a whole lot of your time sitting here chatting. You'll notice my hat's on backwards. There's a reason for that, because I am all ass turned around today. Been a Monday, Monday. All right, let's slide over here to the walkthrough monitor. There is our stuff, and I'm going to readjust this. Okay, and I'm going to move my camera over here so that it covers up myself on those days that, well, I forgot to hit record and I ended up having to download the silly thing. So there we go. Anyway, my apologies. Let's rock and roll. I'm going to try to bring this down to maybe about 20 minutes or so. Let's see what happens. And here it goes. Right. Okay. So this thing, this thing was a very odd size to begin with. Number one, it required a good size lot. And of course, the link to the original floor plans and the link to the shell rules, if you want them, which are up on my my gallery. So this thing, I decided to put it on a Newcrest 40 by 20 lot, and it almost had to go there because of the sizing variables. I mean, this thing had some really oddball sizes. It was like 2,368 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. It says 2 floors, 2-car garage. However, I don't understand quite why people don't count a basement as a story. I know. According to construction rules, a story is anything you can see above ground. Well, the problem is if you check with most places that build big office buildings and all of these big high-rises and what have you, the amount of floors that are in that building include the basement levels, which could be up to 3 stories deep in some basements, depending. And you'll see periodically where I bring up the actual original picture and floor plans up here. So if you want to pause and expand this video and check that out, that's fine. But this, I mean, when I first looked at it, number one, it's outside my comfort zone because I generally don't do modernized homes. I just don't do them. The shapes are odd. The intermingling of different designs is uncomfortable to me. I tend to like a flowing design, something that, okay, so I like crazy ass builds, but if I'm going to do a crazy build, then it's set in my head that I'm going to set out to do that crazy ass build. And of course, the stairs kind of went stupid a little bit, but eventually I got them, as you can tell. And of course, building through the shell here, I got the shell built in one day, got it uploaded to the gallery, and was able to start working on the actual house itself the following day. Well, what I've been considering on doing, and you guys that watch my speed builds can let me know what you think about this. Now, keep in mind, if you watch this some year or so later, today's August 16th, 2021. So I may, by the time you watch this, I may have changed ideas multiple times. Great. Keep that in mind. But I am considering on these shell challenges like this, going ahead and doing the shell off stream and getting then on day one, all I've got to do is walk through the shell, take a look at it, some of the nuances, read off the instructions that are going to be posted on Twitter. And I am going to start posting the instructions on Facebook as well. Why I haven't been doing that, I don't know. It's one of them things. I don't know why most of the Sims community is carrying more to Twitter than they are Facebook, but that's okay. That's their thing. Whatever 6 1/2 does the other. And of course, I wanted the garage to look good, and I was going to try to use some of the surrounds for the roof because I really like some of them. The problem is they are so damn big. I just couldn't see any sense in doing that. So here we are setting the colors for the accent wall here, getting the elevation and everything hooked up right. And of course the shell is already up on the gallery at this point. So if you guys want to do it, just play with it. None of my shells ever have a expiration date on them. So I'd really like to see what you come up with. And I love the gutter pipes that come down, but I found it aggravating that there are still no gutters in Sims to go with the pipes. Okay. So, I mean, the overall build on this guy was fun. Built a little, now this is actually kind of in the floor plan. So, holding to the floor plan, I went ahead and did this seating area. And then later on, as you'll see, I did an actual gazebo further back up between the garage and the house. Really came out looking cute. So we're looking now for doors and different ideas for doors and what have you. Here's the windows for our upstairs bedroom area, trying to find the matching style windows for the floor plan. And then of course these windows were not easy. Now I really like those long lights, the tall standing wall embedded lights. I haven't used them much on many other builds, but I really like the way they looked on this contemporary modern build. And of course the windows to accent the stairs. Well, of course, in Sims, you can't run spiral staircases up with a step off for a landing off of a staircase. So you have to do separate staircases. Then you cannot put one staircase directly up off of another with a step off, especially if you're going to spin those staircases for rooms. I really did like the way these windows came out, though, because of the thickness of those lean-tos that I used above the doors. Some of the windows had to be alt moved. And something I'm looking for, I've sent a message to Twisted Mexie's board over on his Discord, and I would really like to try to have or find something that will by default turn off the grid, and it has to be turned on. Because every time you save, every time you go into or out of build mode or whatever, the grid automatically comes up. The grid is a wonderful thing, and in some cases I would probably die without it. But about 60 to 80% of the time, depending on the build, I don't use the grid. I more or less use placement, how it's going to place in the area itself. Now, when I'm doing the actual build and I am configuring the square footage down to square, what I've kind of coined the phrase of square sims, right? The little 3 foot by 3 foot supposedly squares in sims. Kind of makes it weird. And, of course, the basement was fun. Got the little workshop that's down in the basement. I've never really actually seen a workshop in a basement before, even though I've seen it in real life. I don't know why I've never seen one in Sims, but I have seen people that actually put a workshop in the basement because it's easier to temperature control it. So here's where we're building the Jack and Jill bathroom. Yes, this little thing down in the basement has a Jack and Jill bathroom. It's a little tight, but I think it came out looking really cool in the end. And if some of these speed runs are too quick for you, make sure you slip over and watch the walk through, because I think you'll enjoy it. Then, of course, putting in the bedrooms. Now, you're going to notice here in this bedroom where I ran two bunk beds reverse of each other. And then here shortly, you're going to notice where I went in to create a sim, because I knew at this point it was time to get a sim in here so that I could test it. So going through Create a Sim, got my little sim, going back into the build here, and go ahead and save. Went on through, decided to start working on the living room and the kitchen and dining room area. And of course, the kitchen was kind of weird because there's no real place to put the refrigerator. So you're going to see I played hell with the refrigerator. It ended up going over on the right-hand side, and that I wanted a bay window right there between those windows. And you're going to see here in a minute how I achieved that, because I did achieve it. I had to try a couple of different windows, but at the end of the day, what they call the fish tank window was the key. Now, of course, time to move the refrigerator and recenter everything, and those cabinets just wouldn't work. So I ended up having to switch out countertops and try different countertops that would actually center under the window, and that refrigerator was still pissing me off. But you'll see here in a minute what I eventually ended up doing with the refrigerator, putting it down at the end and building a shelving unit around it. I think it came out really cool. It's right there at the kitchen, easy to access, easy to get to. And so there we go. Here's where I was putting hanging plants and what have you, pulling in some plants and some colors into this gray, white, black tone house, modern, very few actual bright colors. So to get some bright colors and some earth tones in there, I chose some of the little bit darker shades of paintings and different things like that to accent the colors of the walls and what have you. So, wanted to test run her on the TV because I was not 100% sure that the TV was going to work in that fish tank window. But I decided to use the fish tank window off of that side and put the TV in the window. That way there would be some kind of symmetry match between the kitchen window and that living room window. And they really played each other off well. I was very impressed. And of course, here we are on the second floor where we are doing the design and what have you on the second floor. And yes, I know I'm horrible. I'm checking messages while I should be working on a speed bill. So dropping in the doors and, like I said, kind of going through the walkthrough. I forgot to edit out the break. Okay. Going through the walkthrough, the open plan doors really do work. So there's the control room for the house. What we used to call the either the plumbing room, the electrical room, control center, whatever, depending on where you're from, depending on what you like to call it, that's, go for it. And of course, on the top floor, there's also a Jack and Jill bathroom. And in that Jack and Jill bathroom, I wanted to make it as easy to use as possible. I wanted a pair of beds in that particular bedroom, but I didn't want to get redundant with using bunk beds. So I took two beds and joined them at the end of each other so that a sim should still be able to lay on them. So now we're building the master bedroom and the master bathroom. It's not a necessarily en suite bathroom because it's accessible from the rest of the house. Now, you'll see here in a little bit, the reason I put a door there is so that people would be able to have access to the sink that's going to go right there. We all know Sims love to wash their hands. So, they can walk straight in through the door, wash their hands, do what they want to do, take off. So here I am doing the landscaping and getting some of these rocks and things and what have you down. I really wanted to put some rocks there. The problem is the damn rocks were wanting to connect to the floor, not the ground. And it didn't make any difference what I did. I moved them out, I moved them in. I just finally decided to hell with it and just went on with it. Now, to understand why this thing come together the way it did, especially outside, the floor plan called there for grass. And I looked at the grass and I just really didn't like the way it looked. So what I wanted was more of a privacy hinge around here. I looked at different type of hinges and I thought, those red roses will be beautiful across the back. So I wanted the hedge for a little bit of privacy because I knew I was going to end up with an elevated gazebo back here, and the I can't talk. the gazebo itself really set things off, I think. All right. So this is really coming down to the end of the build here, where we got everything picked up. And of course, if you want to see it more truly and more thoroughly, you're going to want to watch the walkthrough. Now, this is kind of the reason that I like to upload these things in two parts. I don't want the walkthrough to get lost in the speed build, and I don't want the speed build to get lost in the walkthrough, because I do have some watchers that have said in passing that they don't like the walkthrough attached to the speed build. I get it. No problem. Got it. Piece of cake. Well, I'm glad that you watched our video. It only took up about 20 minutes of your time today. We hope to see you over on Twitch. And by the way, we made affiliate. Thank you so much to those people that came by and watched our live broadcast. We even, we even got a couple of subscribers now outside of followers. Absolutely appreciate that. You have no idea. But again, the hat's on backwards because my head's been on backwards all day. I meant to do that. Thank you for watching the Spastic Simmer. And again, my name is Don, and we'll catch you on the flip side.